The 1950s. Marta, the wife of the town doctor, opens the door to a friend who arrives after the war. The visitor asks about her life in the midst of a devastated country. Secretly, the friend gives Marta's husband some medical test results that reveal an illness. Worry is written on their faces, and Marta, unaware of her condition, asks what's going on. He tries to bring it up by saying she looks pale. She replies that she hasn't slept. And he insists on examining her, giving her no choice but to comply, leaving a tense silence. The man questions her thoroughly and takes x-rays. He notes that she has lost several kilos and is exhausted for no apparent reason. When he finishes, he hides the truth and assures her that it's all just a cold. When Marta goes to the bathroom, he confesses to the friend that his wife might die in the summer, and decides not to tell her anything. He feels guilty, but other patients are waiting, and the decision weighs on him. Later, the friend walks with Marta through the village. They talk slowly, and the friend discovers that Marta has no one to accompany her through her unknown illness. No neighbors, friends, or family call her. She lives in seclusion, reduced to being her husband's secretary. They walk to a newly opened outdoor restaurant, where several young people are dancing and laughing. Marta likes to watch others having fun, and longing holds her back. They decide to have a drink to distract themselves. Marta gets up and walks to the bar. She returns with the drinks and bumps into an attractive young man named Boguslaw. The encounter is brief. An awkward bump. Marta watches him as a girl approaches to ask him to leave with her. He ignores her. The young woman gets angry. She pulls him. They argue. And in the end, he leaves with her. Leaving a sense of unease in the air, the next day, Marta accompanies her friend to the bus stop. On the way, she sees the same couple sitting and arguing again. The young man becomes uncomfortable when he feels watched, and the tension between them grows. At the station, Marta's friend and the young woman approach the bus to go to the city. Before getting on, the friend hugs Marta through tears and asks her to visit in the summer, as the bus drives away and the day loses its warmth. That afternoon, Marta returns home. Her husband is waiting for her with the table set and several dishes prepared. She doesn't eat a bite and claims to be exhausted. The man watches her and thinks about the loss that is approaching, unable to name it. Silence lingers between them and the night feels heavier. In the following days, Marta goes out for walks to clear her mind. On a bench, she runs into Boguslaw again. She sits down next to him and with a smile asks why he's alone. He explains that his girlfriend has left, that she's a city student, and he's just a simple boy from the countryside, opening up a space for closeness. As they continue talking, he shares his past. He was orphaned after the war, and his grandmother raised him as best she could. Now he works in rafting and doesn't plan on doing anything else. He says that's why he argued with his ex-girlfriend, who kept insisting he should learn another profession and read more, something that doesn't appeal to him. Marta hugs him trustingly. She tells him that she also doesn't see a future in rafting and, amid caresses, suggests that he should read, opening up a new path. Then they walk through the countryside. Boguslaw comments that he has tried to read but he doesn't have money to buy books. Marta mentions that there are a lot of books at her house, that her husband buys them and doesn't have time to read them, and she invites him to pick some out as a gift. They stop in front of a large lake. Marta asks him if he knows how to swim, and he replies that he does. She says she doesn't know anyone to go swimming with, and invites him to do it someday, setting up a date. Satisfied with the meeting, Marta says goodbye. The young man kisses her hand in a grateful gesture. That night, during dinner, Marta seems more cheerful and has a bit of an appetite as she remembers her children, which makes her husband happy for a moment. However, the memories reopen the wound. Their 2 children died in the war, and the pain returns. She confesses that she feels ashamed to still be alive when they and so many others have died, creating a fragile calm. The man listens to her and gently suggests that she get some rest. He leads her to the bedroom, trying to prevent the sadness from growing. They both go to bed, but the weight of what remains unspoken lingers in the room. The next morning, Boguslaw appears at Marta's door. He says he's looking for a book, preferably philosophy, because those were the ones his ex-girlfriend liked. Marta hands him a novel, recommending it gently. She asks him how old he is. He replies that he's 20, highlighting the difference between them and a growing curiosity. Trying to keep the conversation going, Marta asks if it's true that the lake's water level is rising. Boguslaw confirms that it is. She says she thinks it might be dangerous to be in the water, but he comments that some people say that when, in reality, it isn't. He adds that he'd like to go swimming the next day, although he doesn't have anyone to go with, unless she joins him. Marta agrees, and he says goodbye by kissing her hand, leaving a promise hanging. The day of the date arrives. Marta waits by the lake in a swimsuit, standing still by the water. From a nearby bridge, she sees Boguslaw with his girlfriend. She watches them talk as they walk together affectionately, and then they kiss. Marta hides and leaves in embarrassment, not noticing that he says goodbye to the young woman and runs after her, quickening the pulse of the moment. Suddenly, he calls out to her, shouting, searching for her gaze. Marta is surprised to see him take off his clothes until he's down to his underwear. She can't help but smile and follows him to the shore. She reaches the sand which sticks to her skin. Boguslaw lies down, and Marta sits next to him, carefully brushing the sand off his back, opening up an intimate gesture. She wraps her arms around him. He asks her what's wrong, attentive to her soft laughter. When he sees her relaxed, he tries to kiss her. Marta becomes unsettled. The way he kisses her makes her uncomfortable and throws her off balance. In response, Boguslaw sits up, walks toward the water, and goes in to collect some floating branches, leaving the situation in suspense. He comes back with several branches and tries to kiss her again. Marta has a bad feeling and asks him to stop. He replies that he'll keep looking and kisses her again before going back into the water. Marta watches him with concern as he wades in, uneasy about something she can't quite name. The surface of the lake ripples without warning. Suddenly something goes wrong. Boguslaw, carrying more branches, tries to return to the shore, but his legs won't respond. A cramp paralyzes him. He starts to sink. Marta jumps into the water to help him, but the strength of the panicked young man pulls her under. Realizing she can't get him out, she manages to get to shore and screams for help, every second stretched tight. Luckily, two men who were about to swim hear the screams. They throw themselves into the lake without hesitation. They swim to Boguslaw, fight against the weight of the water, and drag him toward the shore. The shore fills with footsteps and short breaths. Time seems to stretch as they lay him down on the sand. Finally, they pull him out of the water with no pulse. The men try to revive him again and again, but get no response. They decide to look for additional help and run off. Marta is left alone with the young man's body and leans over to try to wake him, clinging to the slightest possibility. She insists, calls him, shakes him gently. Desperation grows as she gets no sign of life, not knowing what else to do. She hugs him and cries, her sobs caught in her throat. The murmur of the lake continues, while the future becomes uncertain and the weight becomes unbearable.